public is able to view the meeting via live stream on YouTube. A link for the live stream is posted on the Freeholder website. To all participating in this meeting, please be mindful to put your microphone on mute until speaking. Additionally, please identify yourself by putting your name on the record each time before you speak. The general public will be able to participate by means of communication equipment. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Cooper, absent. Freeholder Graham.
Here.
Freeholder Johnson.
Here.
Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder Mercado.
Here.
Freeholder Pomares.
Here.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Here.
Freeholder Sebo.
Here.
Freeholder President Gill, absent.
We will omit the saluting of the flag since we are conducting this meeting remotely. However, for all of those affected and or lost someone to COVID-19 virus, let us pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. 1,925 people in Essex County have been lost to the virus. Be mindful of that. Please stay safe, wear your mask when appropriate. Have before me certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Mr. Chair, there are two conference board meetings, September 9, 2020 and September the 23rd, 2020.
Freeholder, do you have any questions or comments? Hearing none, I have a motion from Freeholder Graham and a second by Freeholder Johnson. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Cooper, absent. Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill, absent. So moved.
Madam Clerk, we will now move to topics of discussion. Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Mr. President, Vice President, there is. We have an update of the Essex County College from Dr. Augustine Bokey.
Do you have any questions or comments regarding the presentation?
Mr. Vice President, we're going to ask Mr. Bokey, Dr. Bokey, to make a few comments on this presentation.
Thank you. You have the floor, sir.
Good afternoon, all, and thank you very much for giving me opportunity to share with you this afternoon the update of Essex County College. Before I move on, I want to thank all the members of the board of Essex County Freeholders, especially President Brendan Jill, for all the support you have provided to the college over the last 50 years. And more importantly, on behalf of Essex County College, I want to thank you for the beautiful proclamation on the occasion of our 50th anniversary service that we had last year. My name is Boache. I'm currently the interim president of Essex County College. I was born in Kumasi, Ghana, in West Africa, where I grew up and continued my education in Britain. I have PhD in economics from Dundee University, Scotland. I've joined Essex County College since 2009. I joined Essex as a faculty member, and I became the chairperson of the business division since 2013. Then about a year ago, I became the acting dean of business and liberal arts. At this stage, I just want to share with the members here that my vision is to see Essex County College emerge with increased true quality and affordable education offered in a supportive and collegial environment. This is to be accomplished with prudent resource management, ensuring efficiency and effectiveness in offering services that support our community. A few highlights that I want to share with the members here include our measures with regards to the COVID-19. As you all are aware, as an institution like this, one of the things we will always want to stand tall and work hard on is to make sure we protect the staff and the students and the community to the best of our knowledge. We, as a college, put together to respond to the state by providing a comprehensive report as to how we run the institution to the Office of the Secretary of Higher Education for approval before we open our door for the fall 2020 semester. The comprehensive report was accepted, approved, and we since then have been following the steps we put together, and also securing other opportunities to make sure that everybody is safe to the best as we can. We put multiple measures in place here, social distancing, wearing masks, checking entrance temperature, conducting several screening services, and multiple things that we're doing to make sure that our students and our faculty members are safe. We started the semester with very low enrollment numbers when I jumped in as far as 20th or 21st of July 2020. We had just below 2,000 students to start. But I'm glad to share with the board members here that with cooperation and the support from the faculty, the staff, and the board members, we were able to pull everybody together, and we reach out to our students and show them how willing we were to support them with the education. And as I speak, we have over 6,400 students in the classroom taking different courses and programs to make sure that they get better education, as we've been doing over the last few years. There are multiple initiatives. As soon as I jumped in, we had to put in place to make sure that our college is moving in the right direction. A few of them under the academics include putting in place what I call massive outreach campaign, where everybody is involved in the lives of the institution, especially bringing in new students and keeping them. I have put in place a progressive retention task force to research and come out to the best practices to make sure that when the students come in, they don't just redraw, but stay and complete their programs. We've also put in place a mentorship program where the new students are assigned to different faculty members to support them so that they can stay in their academic journey. We have already rolled into our spring 2021 semester, and as soon as we put together, we've already received about 800 registrations for the spring 2021. At the same time, we put together a new program which is referred to as First Year Experience to prepare our students to be successful. One of the things that I want to share with the board members here is that because of the COVID, and we offering most of our courses remotely. With a few of them in the classrooms, we had to work around to make sure that students have internet access. So all our open spaces, we converted them to provide different kinds of internet cafe for students, especially our gym was converted into internet cafe for students who may not have access to internet, may not have access to computer, and they could also at the same time utilize these devices by practicing social distancing. We are also working well with other capital projects, which you have supported us over the last few years. And as I speak, we have a very beautiful and brand new welcome center where students could come in and get one-stop services. We've also completed our Center for Learning and Teaching Excellence, where a lot of training and research will be conducted to support the institution. We're working hard with also our workforce development department to make sure that we'll continue to provide short-term certificate and programs to the community members. So multiple of things are put together to ensure that Essex County College is moving very fast in the game and providing quality and affordable education to our students. With regards quickly to our finances, due to the COVID and a lot of expenses that came together with, and at the same time, the fear of contracting the disease that crippled a number of students from coming to the college, it impacted on the number of students we were expecting. And that obviously impacted on our tuition and fees that we were expecting. Despite these, we have come together to put some measures to make sure that our finances are moving in the right direction. Recently, we just did a reorganization of the institution through consolidation and elimination. We had to cut down the number of cabinet members that we had, about 17 to now 11. We've put together what we refer to as share sacrifice, where we allowed employees to either opt for 5% pay cut or a fellow. These are some of the things we're putting in place to make sure that we can keep the institution moving and running. With regards to our students, the students are still doing very well. And the good news to share with the board members briefly is that Essex County College is one of the 6 colleges across the country that completed what we refer to as NASA ECC Aerospace Scholarship Program. 22 of our students were able to pursue this program, even though their counterpart from other institutions across the nation suspended the program during the COVID period. But Essex County College did the best they could to complete the program. And now they are all referred to as NASA scholars, which is a beautiful thing to share with everybody. With regards to the community relations, as the new interim president, I've reached out to multiple stakeholders and other institutions, especially my fellow university leaders, to make sure that we share ideas and work together to build Essex County College the way it's supposed to be. With regards to our marketing, we have taken new initiatives, and very soon you will see multiple postcards and other avenues to hear from Essex County College, some of the things we're trying to do to reach out to the community so that they can easily join the institution without any issue. I'm working with our foundation to develop new ways and means of raising funds to support the students. And with regards to our accreditation too, we've been submitting all the required reports by middle states. In fact, the last report, which is the annual institutional update, was submitted prior to the due dates that we were given. And finally, I just want to request and also share with the board members here that Essex is going to introduce what you call Giving Tuesday fundraising, which will fall on December 1st, 2020. This is not a new program. Some institutions have done that to raise money for their schools. And Essex will start Giving Tuesday on December 1st, 2020, and you may receive invitation to help us on that. With these and many other things we could share in as we move forward, I just want to once again thank the Board of Freeholders for all the support that you have given to this institution, and even giving me opportunity to introduce myself so that we could work together from here. I cannot thank you and others without thanking the staff, the faculty, the students of this college, and more importantly, the Board of Trustees for the endless support they have provided to me and the college in times of these troubles. So thank you very much. And if there is any quick question, I'll be willing to answer before I drop off from this meeting.
Just want to acknowledge President Gill has joined us. Thank you, Dr. Boki. We really appreciate you giving us an update. Looked like you left no stone unturned in terms of helping our students and making sure that they have a pathway forward to be successful in their college endeavor. So thank you so much. And I'm sure I can speak for the board in saying that anything that you need from us, that we will definitely be supportive 100%. So thank you very much for that presentation. We really appreciate the update.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. Mr. President, would you like to take over public comment session?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. My timing wasn't as good as I hoped, but I deeply appreciate that. Want to say thank you for filling in at the last minute to get us started, and deeply appreciated. And again, thank you to our Essex County College President, Dr. Boki, who was very gracious to reach out to my office and lay out his vision, which I told him was absolutely an important thing for us to hear from, and I'm glad we were able to set this up. So I want to thank him for making the time to be here today. With that, Madam Clerk, let's move to public comment session, assuming that there's no questions. Today's meeting is a combined conference board meeting, and we will vote on every item on the agenda. However, since we're meeting remotely, the public had the opportunity to submit questions and comments for consideration, and can also call in. Madam Clerk, you have additional instructions for our callers?
Yes, Mr. President. If you are calling in, you will be acknowledged to speak in the order that your call was received. Emails received for public comment will be read after the calls are completed. At this time, our public information officer will announce the callers so they can state their comment or question, and be reminded you have 3 minutes to speak. Please do not have your laptop or any electronic device on while calling in. At this time, we are only accepting calls pertaining to agenda items. Please note, you will have the opportunity to call back later in the meeting at the designated time for public comment session on non-agenda items. Carlo Malumba, Public Information Officer, will begin our public comment session now.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There are no callers in the queue waiting to speak at this time.
Thank you. So I will read the email received for agenda item. And this comes from Jeffrey Feld, Esquire. Dear Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, I respectfully request this letter be included in the November 9th, 2020 virtual meeting agenda, public comments, official public record. This letter incorporates and supplements all my earlier letters to the freeholders, including my July 8th, 2020, August 3rd, 2020, September 9th, 2020, and October 19th, 2020 letters that have received no written responses. I assume that this letter will be distributed to all freeholders prior to the virtual meeting. Consequently, you need not read my post October the 21st, 2020 meeting chronology into the record. I respectfully request that the following agenda and non-agenda item questions be read into the virtual public records at the appropriate times, subject to 2 separate 3-minute limitations. Agenda item related, virtual civic participation. Why the delay in posting the November 9th, 2020 agenda not until November the 5th, 2020 at 4:27 p.m., less than 25 hours prior to the posted November 6, 2020 at 5 p.m. email submission deadline? 2, who drafted and approved the freeholders post September 24, 2020 virtual civic participation policy and procedure and official public notice, including 3 minutes and citizens comment limitations? 3, do elected officials, fiduciaries of the public trust has a constitutional statutory common duty to respond to pertinent stakeholder questions prior to taking official action on posted virtual meeting agenda item? 4, do elected officials, fiduciaries of a public trust have a constitutional, statutory, and common law right to respond to non-agenda item virtual meeting pertinent questions with a reasonable period of time? H1 new pro T&C salary ordinance. 5, it is politically and economically prudent for fiduciaries of public trust to consider salary increase municipal legislations days after an election, while numerous municipalities and while residents are confronting unprecedented financial burdens and strains due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Were all the 2020 salary and other related benefit increases incorporated and appropriated within the county and adopted for the 2020 budget? 7, if not, does the county need to amend its adopted 2020 budget? 8, what are the projected aggregate increases in salary and benefits that the taxpayers will be required to pay? 9, would it be prudent to postpone the vote of salary increase resolutions until the second reading public hearing on the salary ordinance and after a more detailed financial consequences presentation? 30 seconds left. 2020 audit. 10, with respect of the 2020 audit, what steps has the county legislative branch taken to ensure adequate mandatory annual long-term tax exemptions, audits, disclosures in the upcoming 2020 audit to be prepared by Samuel Klein and Company? 11, what steps has the county legislative branch taken to collect all long-term tax exemptions revenues due from all Essex County municipalities? 3 minutes have been completed. The balance of this email will be included in the official transcript. Mr. President, at this point, that includes public comment for agenda items only.
Hey, Madam Clerk, please ensure that any information is relayed to the administration for appropriate response. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions for introduction and first reading?
Mr. President, we have 2. Salary ordinance, County of Essex 2020, 2021, and 2022, and an ordinance appropriating $6 million by the County of Essex for various capital improvements.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's we can read ordinance number 1 into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson, please explain the ordinance.
He's on mute.
He's up. Mr. Jackson's on mute. Oh, now he's green.
Okay, that was not me this time. So I just want to put that for the record. So I'll go back. Basically, this is a document that you see from every 2 or 3 years where we update the salary ranges for constitutional officers, actually for members of the board, other elected officials, department directors. And it generally, as it does this time, reflects the same increases that were given to collective bargaining units. So for this agreement, it covers the years 2020, 21, and 22, and the increases are 2.8%, 2.9%, and 3% respectively. And again, it covers the range of officials, clerk of the Board of Elections, county tax administrator, commissioner of registration, superintendent of elections, county surrogate, register of deeds and mortgages, county clerk, members of the board, freeholder board, the sheriff, department directors, county council, county administrator's office, and the county executive.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
Yes, Mr. President, as Mr. Jackson indicated, these annual increases over for 2021 and 22 are the same as those for the represented employees. Those memoranda of agreements will be later on in today's agenda. This is a salary ordinance, though. This is different than the represented bargaining units. This is for unrepresented.
Landline at home.
Somebody needs to go on mute. Okay.
Yep, I'm here.
These need to go on a salary ordinance because they're the constitutional officers and elected officials. And again, this is just first reading and introduction.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
Nothing other than what Mr. Parlavecchio just represented.
Okay. Freeholders? Any questions or comments? Okay, Freeholders, I have a motion from Freeholder Graham and a second from Freeholder Johnson to introduce ordinance number 1. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel. You're on mute. Freeholder Siebel, you're on mute.
I know. Yes, I was working on unmuting it and it wouldn't unmute. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yeah.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper, absent. Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay,
For
Mr.
item,
Jackson.
for item 2, ordinance 2, Mr. President, Mr. Acker is here to address this item.
Do they have to unmute him?
I think you might have to unmute Mr. Acker. What number he's gonna. Because I heard him talking before.
Yeah, he's on. I just talked to him. He's on.
Is he,
Hello?
there he is, there he is. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, it's a $6 million capital ordinance as opposed to a bond ordinance. We're not borrowing. That's a bond ordinance. This is capital ordinance. We have the cash, but we need to appropriate it for the intended purposes, which are 2.2 million for the Public Works building on Bloomfield Avenue, and 3.8 million for voting machines.
I just interrupt, Mark, can you just put your name and title on the record so it's clear, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. It's Mark Acker. I'm the Director of Finance, Administration and Finance.
Okay, Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders. Just for the administration, can you refresh my memory again on the voting machines were mentioned by Mr. Acker?
Yeah.
What are we doing there?
It's in that ordinance, 6 million, 2.2 million for improvements to the Public Works facility on Bloomfield, and the remaining 3.8 is for the acquisition of the new voting machines.
Okay. So this is what we had put on as a result of the situation. This is what we put on hold. So we're going to finish we're going to purchase the machines that we didn't end up purchasing last year.
This is an appropriation to buy those voting machines.
Okay. For the paper ballots.
Well, it could also, they could also be used for paper ballots, some of that too, Mr. President, but also if we have in place and voting, if we return to that, these machines will be able to handle that as well. So it is, it's both, but it also, and it came into great use during this period, was it also provides the Board of Elections with some high-speed scanning machines, so they're able to do the paper ballots on a much quicker basis than they would have otherwise.
But if we don't have this answer, I understand right now, but if we were to have in-person voting next year in the county, would we be using the new machines that would be using verified paper ballots?
I would say yes, the paper trail that we have talked about so much, Mr. President, I would say yes. The only caveat I would have though would be timing of when the governor would say that was something that we could do, because we have to go back and now train all the poll workers on the new machine. So if it was something that was done right at, say, the June primary or something like that, we wouldn't have the ability to train everybody to do it. So we'd have to wait till probably November. So I would say yes, but just kind of depending upon the timing of when the governor gives authorization to use them. Or I should say when the governor dictates what kind of election we're going to have.
Right, because I think right now, I mean, there's a couple of bills making their way to the legislature, specifically in regards to early voting. So we're actually extending the time that you can cast a ballot. But the second issue, which I read is not resolved yet, but which my hope is that they will actually perform the same access point that they performed this year in mailing every registered voter, at least for the general election, a ballot. But there's also, from what I read, also serious talk of getting electronic poll books. So you would have essentially the election held in the same form that we had this year, but also have the counties have the ability to have in-person voting in a traditional manner, rather than having to vote on a provisional.
And the new machines would enable us, Mr. President, to do all of that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it would almost be like adding another element of potentially of a new, because it would be machines, but no one would be voting on touchscreen machines anymore in Essex, potentially in Essex County.
That's correct.
Okay. Freeholders, are there any additional questions or comments? Freeholders, I have a motion from Freeholder Johnson and a second from Freeholder Luciano to introduce ordinance number 2. Also seeing, Madam Clerk, that Freeholder Cooper is present. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Freeholder Siebel. Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder
answer-
Siebel.
My answer is yes. I'm sorry, it just won't unmute when I try and do it.
We got your vote. Thank you. Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions for listing purposes only?
Mr. President, we have none.
Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions on second reading and public hearing this afternoon?
Mr. President, we have 2.
Okay.
Ordinance,
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
I said we have 2. Ordinance number O-2020-0014 and ordinance number O-2020-0015.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to ordinance number O-2020-00014 and read it into the record at a later time. I hereby declare that the public hearing on ordinance O-2020-00014 is open. If there's any member of the public who emailed comments for or against this ordinance, we will read the comments into the record and respond to you in writing. Let the record reflect, Madam Clerk, that none were received. Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't, Mr. President.
Mr. Parlavecchio?
No comments.
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay, Freeholders, I have a motion from Freeholder Luciano and a second from Freeholder Mercado to close the public hearing on ordinance O-2020-00014. Do I have the same mover and second to approve the ordinance?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, do I have the same mover and second?
Yes.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, great. I hereby declare the public hearing on ordinance 2020-0015 open. If there's any member of the public who emailed comments for or against this ordinance, we'll read the comments into the record and respond to you in writing. Let the record reflect that no comments were received. Mr. McInerney, do we have any questions?
No, Mr. President, I don't.
Mr. Parlavecchio?
No questions, comments.
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I have a motion from Freeholder Mercado and a second from Freeholder Pomares to close the public hearing. Do I have the same mover and a second to approve the ordinance?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Freeholders. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's move to resolution number 1, which is the Office of the County Executive. We can read it into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. County Council Gassion is here to address this item.
Courtney Gassion, Essex County Council. Resolution number 1 is a request for an approval of a professional services agreement with the law firm of Carter & English, LLP. The purpose of this contract is to provide legal services specifically to the Essex County Correctional Facility in the role as the Executive Director and Administrator for the Essex County Correctional Facility Civilian Task Force. As the board will recall, the Civilian Task Force was formed and has been enacted over the last year. There was a request by the county administration last year to enter into the same contract for the McCarter & English firm to act, as I said, in the role of executive director and administrative role for the task force, which they have now been doing for almost a year. This is a second contract in the same amount, $300,000, to allow them to continue to provide those services for the task force in the upcoming year. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Parlavecchio.
I don't have any questions.
Mr. McInerney.
Yes, I've sent the invoices for McCarter English, and they totaled very close to this amount of $300,000.
Is there anything else, Mr. McInerney, from the invoices? I know we had discussed what was included in the invoices.
In the invoices were included the date of the service, a description of the service that was incurred, and then everything was kind of totaled up at the bottom. There was no extension to that, but the total is that would have to be divided by the hourly rate to come up with the hours.
Okay. And any issue with this resolution as a result of the review of those invoices?
No, I did have a discussion with, county council, maybe getting an extension on those items, but as far as individual costing, but when you look at all the invoices and add them up, which I did, they added up to $298,000.
Okay. Very good. Freeholders, do I have any questions or comments? Okay. Freeholders, I have a motion from Freeholder Primaris and a second from Freeholder Siebold. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper. Freeholder Cooper. Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper. Absent. Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Moving to resolutions number 2 through 6, which are from the Office of County Council. We can read them into the record at a later time.
Mr. President, these are agreements with various bargaining units, and Deputy County Counsel Robin McGrath is here to address these issues.
Good afternoon. My name is Robin McGrath, Director of Labor Relations. Through you, Mr. President, would you like me to introduce them as a group or each one individually? They all contain the same wage increases.
You can quickly run.
Okay, great. So the second resolution listed is a memorandum of agreement between the County of Essex and CWA 1081, the professionals, which the term of the contract will be from January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2023. The wage increases included in this memorandum of agreement for 2021 will be 2.8% increase, 2021, 2.9% increase, 2022, 3% increase, 2023, a 3% increase. These are the same wages that 16 other collective bargaining agreements have already agreed to and started receiving. The third item resolution listed is a memorandum agreement between the County of Essex and CWA 1081 for the clericals. The term is January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2023. And the wage increases would be the same as I just mentioned for the professionals. For 2020, it's 2.8% increase. 2021, 2.9% increase. 2022, 3% increase. 2023 is a 3% increase. Resolution number 4 is a memorandum of agreement between the County of Essex and the Public Employees Supervisors Union for the supervisors. The term is January 1, 2020 through December 31st, 2023. 4-year term, similar to the two previous resolutions. The wages are as follows. 2020 will be 2.8% increase, 2021, 2.9% increase, 2022, 3% increase, 2023, 3% increase. Resolution number 5 listed is a memorandum of agreement between the County of Essex and the Public Employees Supervisors Union for the administrators. The term is from January 1, 2020 through December 31, 2023, which is a 4-year term, and the wage increases are as follows. Effective January 1, 2020 is a 2.8% increase, 2021, 2.9% increase, 2022, 3% increase, 2023, 3% increase. The 6-item resolution listed is a memorandum of agreement between the County of Essex and the Geneso District Council 1. The term is January 1, 2020 through December 31st, 2023, also a 4-year term, and the same wages as the 4 previous resolutions. January 1, 2020, it will be a 2.8% increase. 2021 will be a 2.9% increase. 2022 will be a 3% increase, and 2023 will be a 3% increase. Those would be the 5 items, the 5 memorandums of agreement that I would be presenting.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
No additional comments on that.
Mr. McInerney.
No comments, Mr. President.
Okay, freeholders. Additional questions or comments? We have a motion from Freeholder Siebel and a second from Vice President Richardson for numbers 2 through 6. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
And Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper. Absent Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to resolutions number 7 through 9, which are from the Department of Administration and Finance. Mr. Jackson. I'm sorry if somebody's speaking. I can't hear them. Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, was I on mute before? I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know. I was going to say that Mr. Mohammed, our CFO, is here to address this item as well as a representative from Samuel Klein.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mr. Mohammed. I'm the CFO. This resolution to award the annual audit. We are required by law to award to get audited every year, and we did the RFP and vendor who get the contract is Samuel Planning Company.
And do you want to have the representative who's with you to say anything, Sam?
We have Mr. Marvin Laspader he's a partner in Samuel Planning Company. He's supposed to be online.
Hi, I'm the partner in charge of the Essex County audit of the accounts of control. Our audit encompasses Mr. Acker's office, Mr. Muhammad's office, offices, the office of the county sheriff, and the office of the county prosecutor. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. Carlecchio?
No questions.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
I do. Yeah. Mr. Lustbader, has it been taken into consideration that the single audit now would include, I assume it would include the grants coming in on the U.S. CARES Act? I mean, does that expand the single audit?
Any grant that the county receives in their operations is included in the single audit.
And so have you priced that the same as last year, or taking that into consideration?
This prior year. Has it? Yes. Oh, it has been increased.
Okay.
Bill Picone here.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. President, may I add something?
Sure.
Sam Klein and Company works for us every year, and I just want to say that they do a terrific job working for Essex County, and I'm pleased that they're going to continue this service. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay, let's do resolutions number 8 and 9, which we can read into the record at a later time.
I may have been on mute again. Mr. Blasio is here to address this item, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Annette de Blasio. I represent the Office of Management and Budget. And every year at this time of the year, OMB comes before the board with a transfer to cover the worst case salary scenarios and also transfer requests as per departments and divisions. I will be free to answer any specific questions if anyone has any.
Okay, Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
None of this has changed since we spoke at the leadership meeting, or was there one item?
That's correct, Frank.
Okay.
There are no changes from that time.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
Freeholders? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Resolution number 9.
I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. President, that's me. This is a 4-year, 9-month agreement with the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for medical examiner and forensic toxicology services. It will end on June 30th, 2025. This is a result of some ongoing discussions among the County of Essex and some other partners in this agreement. If you remember, we did some extensions due to the COVID-19 crisis, but we finally have the agreement in place. And again, this is for 4 years and 9 months, in an amount not to exceed $24 million.
Okay, Vecchio.
Just a question about the duration. I know initially it was written up as 5 years. Is that so it ends at the end of a calendar year, that it's now 4 years, 9 months?
That is correct, Mr. Palavecchio. That will end at the end of the state's fiscal year on June 30th, 2020.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Okay, Freeholders, additional questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion from Vice President Richardson and a second from Freeholder Cooper to take resolutions 7 through 9 as one. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo,
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson,
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares,
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado,
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson,
Yes.
Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper, Freeholder Cooper is absent. Freeholder President Gill,
Yes.
so moved.
Okay, let's move to resolutions number 10 through 13 and 42, which are the Department of Public Works. We can read into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. County Engineer Varghese is here to address these items.
Good afternoon. This is Sanjeev Varghese, County Engineer. Hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, we can, Sanj.
Okay. Resolution 10 is for a change order. As you may know, we are working on the first floor to rehabilitate the first floor at the Hall of Record. It's a change order for some unforeseen items came up through the construction. It's a 3.6% change order with Altec construction. The change order came as a result of some unforeseen items. Basically 3 items there. One is the voice and data cabling, the racks for the same thing. And then we were doing the flooring. We had some cracks in the flooring. We had to repair the cracks. The total change order is $60,000 out of $1.65 million total job. It's around 3.6%. Resolution number 11 is to supply bottled water for the whole county as needed basis. This is the W. Mason is the current contractor now we have. This is the same vendor we have for the next bid. They are the lowest responsible bidder. This is for every department and every agency in the county. Resolution number 12 is for maintenance of the elevator at 99 West Bradford in Public Works Building in Cedar Grove. It's a 5-year contract for $115,000. Annual maintenance is around $15,000, and then plus parts or anything associated with it. It's for a period of 5 years as needed basis. Resolution number 13 is for specialty tires. Again, this is as needed. This is based on catalogs supplied by the vendors. They give us discounts from the catalog, and we have 3 vendors. They have the lowest, less responsible bidders for each items on the bid. Resolution number 42 is we were before the board in the last meeting for insertion of revenue for the Montclair traffic lights, and this is the continuation of the same resolution for the agreement with the NJDOT for signatures. And I can answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Parlavecchio.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Mr. McInerney.
No questions, Mr. President.
Freeholders.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd just like to check to see if Freeholder Cooper has returned. It's through you. Freeholder Cooper? Okay. All right. For Mr. President, she is has not returned. So for a mover and a second.
Okay. Very good. So resolution 42 is just a housekeeping matter?
Yes, the last resolution we had, we sent a DM for both together, but it was only approved for the insertion of revenue, and this is for the agreement.
Right, okay.
I know.
Okay, Freeholders, any additional questions? Hearing none, I'll with a second from Freeholder Graham to take resolutions 10 through 13 and number 42. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper, absent. Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson,
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado,
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares,
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson,
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel,
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Moving to resolutions number 14 through 17. Department of Public Works. This is record for later time. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Zates is here for these items.
Excuse me, Department of Parks. Thank you.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Park. Number 13 is the contract change order with Clinton Electric to provide outdoor athletic repairs in the amount not to exceed $40,320.40. Specifically, these additional funds will go towards repairing a field light, rewiring of soccer field at west side, lights at Clemente and Riverbank. And the original contract was $241,602. The additional $48,300 will bring the total contract to $289,922. Number 15 is a contract award with Oxford Electrical Contracting to provide general electrical improvements. Not to exceed $593,800. This is for general electric improvements throughout the entire Essex County Park system, including the zoo, the arena, all the parks, and what have you. Number 16 is the contract award to protein funds to provide deer butchering services in the amount not to exceed $20,000. This is to process the venison from the annual deer management program. We've been in the deer management program for about, I believe it's 13 years now. And since the program began, the venison, the hunters get a small percentage, and the rest of it gets served to the food bank. And since the program's inception, we've donated so far 49,775 pounds of venison to the food bank. And number 17, the contract is over railroad engineering, provide railroad engineering services at the zoo, to not to exceed $85,000. This is to enable the county to be able to have two trains on the track at the same time. As the board's probably aware, we have a closed loop track over at the zoo, which is unique. It's the only actual closed loop track in the entire state. This will be able to design a mechanism with the braking mechanism on both the train and the track to enable two trains to go on the track. Any questions on any of those?
Okay, Mr. Parlavecchio.
Don't have any questions.
Mr. McInerney.
I don't have any questions either, Mr. President. Mr. President, can I follow up on something?
Sure.
On the venison, is there any process that goes through to assure that the meat is, edible? I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm saying normally there's an inspection of meats, before they're sent out for human consumption. I'm just curious what inspection takes place on this, volume of meat.
Sure, Dr. Zate, that's a question, Mr. President. V. Rosenson is a butcher who not only processes venison, they do the usual array of meat, and just would fall under whatever provisions and statutes they would normally have to meet under that process.
So they provide the butchering services, but the inspection services.
Through you, Mr. President, whatever the normal process is to butcher regular meat. I'm not intimately familiar with that, but they would apply to whatever those statutes and regulations are.
Okay, but you believe there's some sort of process there that, takes place that makes sure that what they're butchering is been inspected and is edible, not diseased?
Yeah. I think that's very good.
I mean, it sounds silly, but I just, normally, when you go to the supermarket, there's some sort of inspection sticker on it. So I was just curious about that from a liability standpoint, obviously. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McInerney. Freeholders, additional questions or comments? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I have a motion from Freeholder Seabold and a second from Freeholder Johnson for resolution 14 through 17. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Seabold.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado. Freeholder Mercado. You need to unmute. He's frozen. Okay. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Okay. Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Moving to resolutions number 18 through 21, read to the record at a later time, from the Department of Community Action. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Woods is here for items 18 and 19, and Mr. McCoy is here for items 20 and 21. Mr. Woods.
Okay. Item number 18 is for an increase for our social services for the homeless contract. There was a CR fund given to the state of New Jersey, and they are supplementing our current program in the amount of $195,943, and this is for administering new COVID-19 relief housing assistance program funds. That original contract was approved for the SSH program on January 22nd, 2020, and this will be a supplement. The other item is the additional $95,943, which is going to be awarded to the Newark YMCA to provide preventive services in conjunction with that COVID-19 State Department of Family Development program. Therefore, short-term rental assistance program. County residents that have not been able to make their payments towards their rent and/or mortgage because of the COVID-19 public housing emergency. The vendor was selected based on their expenditure and programmatic performance. As regards to the social services for the homeless program, it was a requirement that we selected a current social services for the homeless program recipient in order to utilize these funds.
Mr. McCoy?
Good evening, Freeholders. This is Terrence McCoy from the Division of Community Action. Item number 20 is for COVID funds that were provided to Essex County from the City of Newark to sustainably help our constituents who are living with HIV and AIDS who are not receiving any type of subsidy for their rent, to help them through this pandemic time frame where they cannot sustainably pay for rent or utility assistance because they have lost income or they have reduction in hours. Number 21 is our annual renewal for our subsidy grant for 2021 for continued subsidy services to all of our constituents that are currently on the roster for rent subsidies.
Okay. That include 2021, Mr. Jackson? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, Mr. President, all 4 items were done.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio?
I don't have any questions.
Yeah, in resolution number 19, you say that's CARE Act's money? The 943 from the insertion above? Is that funded by funds, either state or federal, that comes via the, the CARES Act or the equivalent with the state?
Yes, this is the CARES Act related funds that the state needed to disperse directly out to the communities.
So this is a grant that comes in, and the 95,943 would be considered additional grants associated with funding from the CARES Act.
195.
Correct.
Well,
correct.
the 195, but only 95 is being used right now, right? Yeah, is the whole 195 part of that?
Yes, so yes, the 195 is a part of that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Freeholders, additional questions or comments? I have a motion from Freeholder Johnson and a second from Freeholder Luciano to take 1821 as one. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson. Absent Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's move to resolutions number 22 through 24, which are the division of senior services. We can read it into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Eric, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and other chosen freeholders on the phone call today. My name is Eric Smith. I'm a contractual unit supervisor here at Division of Senior Services. And item number 22 is a budget insertion in the amount of $289,509, in which $105,540 is for COVID-19. With the remaining balance of $183,969 was awarded to Essex County from the State Office on Aging from 2019 funds. Item number 23 is approval of our 2020 area plan matrix in the amount of $266,840. And I would like to say that this $266,840 is a part of the previous item number 22 minus the admin. And item number 24 was the request approval of our 2021 area plan contract with the state, and so that we can start producing and getting the 2021 contracts for our vendors. And if you have any questions or anything, I'm here for you.
Mr. Prodlecchio?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to clarify one thing for myself. Item 22, resolution 22 is an insertion of revenue from the state. And it's those dollars that are then found minus the administration fee. It's the same dollar.
Are you there, Mr. Smith?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll repeat it. In resolution 22, there's a budget insertion from the state for 289,000 and some additional dollars. In 23, it's approval of the area plan matrix, but those are the dollars that are in resolution 23 in the area plan matrix. Those are from the budget insertion on the resolution above. Those
Yes,
are
sir.
$10. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Mr. President.
Yeah, Mr. McInerney?
On that same question, resolution 22, it's my understanding that 105,540 is considered COVID money and funded from the state of New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
So of the 289,509, 105,540 is considered COVID money from the state of New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay. That is included down below in 23 in the 2020 area plan matrix.
Yes, that's included in number 23. That's just minus the admin of I believe 22,000.
Okay. So, but I'm just curious, what does the 2020 area plan matrix have to do with the COVID funds? Can you explain that?
It was just totaled that way.
The 24 is not connected to 23 and 22. And that,
Yeah, 24 is not connected to 22 and 23.
No, I'm questioning 23 being connected to 22. You're saying it is.
I can
Yeah.
answer.
I'm sorry, somebody say something?
Yeah, my name is Irene Amarege. The 23 is connected to 22, budget insertion. The COVID 105,540 is inclusive in the area plan matrix because the money is coming out of Department of Health and Human Services, and they incorporated it into the final award that was given to the Division of Senior Services. So that is the reason the 105 is in
Well,
there.
that explains it. That's the answer. Thank you very much.
Through you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
President, can you restate your name and your association with the county, please?
My name is Irene Amarege. I'm the supervising accountant for the Division of Senior Services.
Thank you.
31 years. Thank you.
Okay, freeholders, additional questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I have a motion from Freeholder Luciano and a second from Freeholder Mercado to take 22 through 24. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder and Vice President Richardson. Absent. Freeholder Amares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson,
Yes.
Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper,
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, moving to resolution number 25. We can read into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Director Del Gaudio is here for number 25.
Hey, Frank.
Okay, Resolution 25 is a contract with MSI. That is a company that will help us recruit our psychiatrists. Right now, we're down 3 psychiatrists with another who will be retiring come March 1st. So we need some assistance in actually finding qualified doctors to come work full-time at the hospital center.
Okay. Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Okay, Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Okay, Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Okay, I have a motion from Freeholder Mercado and a second from Freeholder Primaris. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper,
Yes.
Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson,
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado,
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares,
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent Freeholder Siebel,
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved. Mr. President, at this time, may I have the opportunity just to make another statement about the second public comment?
Sure.
If you're calling in for the second public comment session of the agenda, the number is 855-756-7520. That's 855-756-7520, and use the password 67845. Password 67845. You will be acknowledged to speak in the order that your call was received. Emails received for public comment will be read after the calls are completed. At that time, then our public officer will take over at the appropriate time. Public information officer. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Moving to resolution number 26 through 29, which is in the Division of Community Health. Read it into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Robert, we couldn't hear you.
I'll get better, I think. I need help, professional help here. We're going to divide this up differently. Again, I apologize to members of the board. Item 26, Director Del Gaudio and Maya Lordo, our health officer, are going to deal with that one, and Director Eileen Fishman is going to deal with items 27 through 29. So Frank and Maya, for item 26, please. I'm not going to
Yeah, Mr. President, Frank Del Gaudio, Director of Department of Health and Rehabilitation. Resolution 26 is a request for approval to transfer the local information network communication system known as the Links Agency, the acronym, to Essex County. Just some background on this resolution. Right now in the state of New Jersey, there's only 2 counties that do not manage this Links Agency that's put out by the New Jersey Department of Health. It's an information sharing system, training system. It really is just us in Hudson County, and one of the major provisions of this authorization is to have a full-time certified health officer. Within the last year, we do have a full-time qualified and certified health officer, and we feel with the pandemic, we would be a better agency to handle this appointment. The state of New Jersey has approved this. We had attached a letter with the resolution for your review, and we don't have any other history whether or not any other agency has ever been appointed the actual links agency for Essex County.
Maya, do you have anything you wanted to add?
At this time, we are with becoming the links agency. It also is in charge of emergency response for the county and coordinating that response, which during this pandemic we have been involved in as the county health department with our testing sites, working with, I'm sorry if there's some feedback there too, with our county OEM, along with all of our municipal health officers. Along with this links agency also does come a grant funding that right now is designated to us for $471,757. It's a 5-year grant cycle. We should be receiving an extra about $200,000 the next coming cycle around, starting next June of 2021.
Thank you. I think that's it, Mr. President, for those two, and Director Fishman for 27 through 29.
Good evening, Freeholders. President Gill, Eileen Fishman, Director of Community Health Services. 27 is an insertion item for on behalf of Special Child in our early intervention unit of the amount of $1,587,305 from the state. 28 is also an insertion item of revenue for our Municipal Alliance grant, $257,560. And 29 is an amendment to modify support services for our alcohol grant. And that is because certain providers have not used the monies that were originally allocated to them. And so we are modifying that to give those monies to providers that have used most of their monies for the year, and they need money to continue to work with us. That's where we're at. Any questions? Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Mr. Parlavecchio.
I don't have any questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions, Mr. President.
Okay. Freeholders, I have a motion from Freeholder Primaris and a second from Freeholder Siebold to take 26 through 29 as one. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson. Absent Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved. Mr. President,
Yes.
I've been informed that there's a technical difficulty with the password for the call-in for the second public comment session, so I have to give another password. With your permission, I will do so. The number again is 855-756-7520, and the passcode is 68690. Passcode 68690. You must press 0 to be placed into the speaker's queue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Moving to resolutions 30 and 31, which are from the Department of Economic Development and Training and Employment. Can read it into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Mr. President, Director Montfort is here to address these.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Director Montfort, Essex County Division of Training and Employment. What you have before you is two grants. One is from the New Jersey Department of Labor for funding that we use to provide training services for clients who are receiving TANF, food stamps, SNAP, and general assistance, where they are mandated to be in an activity. But due to COVID, that process normally starts, the new allocation normally starts July of the fiscal year for the State Department of Labor. We received our allocation in October, and therefore the Department of Labor decided that they would do a 75% financial cut because we will not be providing any services for the first 3 months of the contract. What we are planning to do so that programs, when the federal government and the state mandate that clients go back into a program, what we are going to do, we're going to pick up the option from our original RFP with vendors to renew their contracts, but some of the programs we will not renew because they're not conducive to the time frame that would be needed for a client to actually be in a training program. That's the first agenda item from the Department of Labor. The second item is from the Department of Family Development, Department of Human Services. This is funding that we use to provide assistance to those individuals who have clocks that are getting ready to run out. Basically, these individuals are coming to the end of their 5-year life on TANF or general assistance, and this is the hard to serve population of Workforce New Jersey that we do intensive case management on. Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
I don't have any questions.
McInerney.
Mr. Mumford, this number 30, for the 6 million, that's significantly down from the prior year. I think the prior year, I was told by Matt, was about 9.5 million. The differential.
Yes,
and then,
okay.
No, go ahead, Mr.
Through you, Mr. President. Yes, everyone throughout the state took the same cut, a 75% cut, because of COVID. What they said was because we were not providing any services, that everyone will see that cut, take a 25% cut. So that's why we're significantly taking that cut. And plus there are some other formulas that they use in there to make that cut.
But we won't expend more than the grant on those programs, correct?
No, we will not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, freeholders, questions or comments?
Sure. Mr. President, I want to remind you that Freeholder Vice President Richardson is still away from his station.
Okay. We have a motion from Freeholder Seabold. I will second it. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Seabold.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano. Freeholder Luciano. Absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper. Freeholder Cooper. Absent Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Moving to resolutions number 32 through 34 from the Office of Purchasing. We can read into the record at a later time. Mr. Jackson.
Mr. President, I will not wait for Mr. Jackson because I don't know if he can speak on, or he's on silent. Number 30.
I can speak, smarty pants. I got it. Deputy Administrator, Mr. Coltrane.
Mr. President, the first resolution number 32 is a 20% change order. The current contract goes until March 27th, 2021. This will be a $300,000 change order for household items and janitorial supplies. With the COVID, they're using more mops, brooms, and cleaning supplies in the various departments. This is a county-wide resolution, so any department can use it. Number 33 is furnish and delivery of toiletries and beauty supplies, which I do not need. And we have 5 various vendors, and attached was a list of items that each of the vendors supply. And this is again for various departments, predominantly corrections and the hospital center. Number 34 is a 24-month extension for delivery of stationery and office supplies for WB Mason, and the contract will run from January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Polavecchio.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Mr. McInerney.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Freeholders, additional questions or comments?
Mr. President, just to remind you that Freeholder Vice President Richardson has not returned.
Okay.
They called back? Yeah.
Okay, Freeholders, I have a motion. I will move it, and I have a second from Freeholder. Roll call, Madam.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Pomares. Freeholder
Yes.
Pomares. Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, moving to resolutions 35 through 39 from the Department of Corrections, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Director Ortiz is here to address these items. He always has problems. Director, you there?
Can they unmute him?
Can you check and see if he's unmuted, if he's muted centrally?
We'll check.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yes, we can.
Can you hear me? Okay, hi. Good evening. My name is Al Ortiz, Director of the Essex County Correctional Facility. I'm here for the items 35 through 39. I'll go through each of them, and then at the end, questions through you, Mr. President. Item 35 is the replenishment contract award to WB Mason for the replenishment of bottled water and water station filters for the use by inmates and staff in various areas throughout our large facility. Item 36 is a contract award to Frank Truck Center for purchase of 6 vans that will be utilized to replace and augment our current fleet, our much depleted fleet, for transportation of inmates and staff as necessary. Item 37 is a contract award to Maple Crest Ford for the purchase of 2 Ford Explorers. Those are primarily for chase vehicles as necessary when transporting inmates and detainees to various locales. Item 38 is the contract award to Sun Air Bags for the purchase of plastic bags that are used on a chain for the purpose of storing inmate and detainee clothing. It's a huge operation and they tend to break every so often, so we need to replenish them. And finally, I have item 39 is the contract award to GD Correctional Services, a food service provider. They've been with us for many years now, provided a quality product. I'm advocating for the passage of this particular contract. I have with me Mr. Mike Fangillo, CEO, and Jennifer Lagenbach. She is the resident district manager for the operation at the jail. I'll be happy to answer questions, and both Ms. Lagenbach and Mr. Fangillo are available for questions.
Okay, Mr. Palavecchio.
Yes, thanks, Mr. President. I do have a question on number 39, the food services contract. We should all be familiar with this vendor who's been with the county for a number of years. And I believe it was last year, could have been earlier this year, it might have been 2019. There was an extension or an amendment to this contract that did, in response to some members of the public and some other concerns, that did raise the cost of the contract and did improve upon some of the quality of food, in particular, I think the meat that was used at the facility. Is that change in quality or upgrade in quality also reflected in this new contract?
That's correct, yes. Al Ortiz, director, responding.
Thank you. Any other changes from prior years? This is now a 3-year contract. Director Ortiz, any other changes from prior years? And that was a significant one.
Yes, and Mr. Frangillo can speak more on that, but it's for the replacement and repair of equipment, refrigerations and dishwashers that need to be replaced, and also for and Mr. Frangillo will speak on this, for the changing of how we serve meals. In the past, we would prepare the meal in the kitchen and send it via trucks to the units where they would go into a pantry. Now it's going to be prepared in the kitchen and go directly to the inmate. If I may, Mr. Mike Frangillo, would you please speak up on that?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Michael Frangillo, Gourmet GD Correctional Services. Yeah, just to reiterate what Al said, just want to start with thanking everyone. This is a long-standing partnership with the county, and we appreciate everything we've been through together, especially the last 8 months working together through COVID. And just want to give a shout out to my team that's worked there every day through this and thank them for that. Yes, a big part of this new contract will be renovating a roughly 20-year-old kitchen. The jail opened in 2004, but a lot of that equipment and such were purchased before. So we're going to modernize the kitchen to a tray line system. Both facilities have, so the food is secure and holds temperature. The hot stays hot, the cold stays cold as it leaves the kitchen. The way it's done now, keeping temperatures is a real challenge, and this will eliminate that concern going forward.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Palavecchio. Mr. McInerney?
I don't have any questions.
Freeholders, questions or comments? Okay. Questions or comments? Freeholders, I have a motion from Freeholder Cooper, and the Freeholder is still on, and a second from Freeholder Graham on resolutions 35 through 39. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper. Absent. Freeholder.
Madam Clerk. Madam
Yes.
Clerk. Mr. Palavecchio. if Freeholder Cooper is absent, then she could not have been the mover.
That's correct. So, and a new mover and seconder.
Mr. President, I'm happy to move it.
Thank you. Moved by Freeholder Palmaris.
Freeholder Cooper, absent. Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson,
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado,
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares,
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder President Gill, Freeholder President Gill. So moved.
You forgot me.
I'm sorry, Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Moving to resolution number 40, read to the record a little time. Jackson?
Sheriff. These are the sheriff's program. Item number 40, Mr. President, is a budget insertion in the amount of $1,875,000, which is for the COPS program. And this helps improve the sheriff's office response to critical issues such as gun violence, homeland security, building trust and homicide reduction. This covers salaries and wages. Item 41 is a budget insertion as well from the Center for Tech and Civic Life to secure election administration costs here in the County of Essex in the amount of $2,944,803. The county applied for, as did a number of other municipalities and jurisdictions, for assistance through this organization, and we were able to secure through the work of our chief of staff and through our assistant administrator, Eliana Pinto-Marin, we were able to secure this monies, which will help to offset some of the additional costs that we got from that were caused by the COVID crisis and the additional work and costs that were incurred as a result of that. Let's see, item 42. Department of, and I think Mr. Voorhees covered that one earlier. So that's it.
Okay, Mr. Palavecchio?
I don't have any questions on 40 and 41.
Okay, Mr. McInerney?
Which one did you say was COVID related? 41?
Yes, 41 was, yes, I would say 41 was COVID related, yes.
So this is federal monies?
No, this is actually from a foundation.
Oh, okay.
Dollars.
Center for, okay. They're giving the county $2.9 million to fund.
That's correct. What happened, Frank, this was an organization that was formed in 2015. I believe the initial grant from Facebook, I can't say, who's Facebook?
Oh.
Zuckerberg.
Yes, Zuckerberg.
To start the organization, and then in September they awarded $200 million for voting to support voting throughout the country. There was such a demand for the dollars that they awarded another $100 million. So of the total pool of $300 million, we received $2.9 million for the County of Essex to support. And it was driven from the fact that so many of these of the jurisdictions had to do so much, be it paper balloting, PPE, other measures that were taken as a result of the COVID crisis.
You know, as we go through these, resolutions on a weekly basis, and as I'm tracking it, we're seeing a tremendous amount of money, not just the initial 139, but we're seeing millions of other dollars come into the county to offset some of the costs applicable to COVID.
Correct.
I mean, it's really been, great effort on the administration's part to get this money. And it's a lot. There's
It's
a
a lot.
lot coming in. Yeah, there's a lot.
Any additional questions, freeholders? Actually, that's 40, 41.
And 42 we've done previously with the regular part.
42 we did previously, okay. So I'm going to need a motion for resolution 40 and 41. So I'm going to have a motion by Freeholder Graham and a second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Tamarez.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Moving to resolution number, we took 42. Did we take 43?
We did not, sir.
Oh.
Moving to resolution number 43. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Lombardi is here to. He's there.
Mortgage CARES Mortgage Assistance Program, and it's I think we spoke about it last meeting. This program is designed to provide financial assistance to residents within the county who are struggling to pay their mortgages, and we set up a portal that will process the applications for the residents, and it's basic. It's a program we've been using for some other programs. It seems to be working well. We've used it for our tenant assistance program as well, and we're gearing up now for this new program that will be using CARES money.
Through you, Mr.
Lombardi,
President.
just ask you to put your name on the record.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Craig Lombardi, project coordinator for the Division of Housing and Community Development.
Okay. Mr. Parlavecchio?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
This amount here is what, it's $2 million even?
Yes.
That's correct.
And this is really just an allocation from the original 139 million, correct? It's not new funds, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any freeholders, any additional questions or comments?
Mr. President, this is Freeholder Cooper. I have a question. What's the program, income guideline? Is this going to be administered directly by the county, or are we passing this through to a third-party organization?
We are administering. I don't know if Ms. Lombardi, you want to address that one? I can unless you wish to.
No, I believe the county will be administering the program. Our division was working with them because we work with the portal. The county will be administering the program.
And it is for households at or below 150% of area median income.
Thank you. My other question, Mr. President, is when will this be available? Like, is there a deadline? When can people start to apply?
Lombardi?
Yeah, my understanding is that as soon as we get freeholder approval, well, we will be ready to open the portal for application. And again, I don't want to misspeak, but I also believe the money needs to be expended by the end of the year.
That's correct, by December 30th. We're very optimistic, freeholders, that we'll be able to move this money out pretty quickly.
I have another question. If so, this money has to be expended by December 31st. I would say, based upon some of my conversations with folks in other municipalities, this $1.6 million allocated is probably going to go pretty quickly. I think you said at a meeting about a month ago that most of the funding that we got for CARES has to be expended by December 31st. Is there any opportunity, if there's any leftover dollars, that if there was, that you could put more to this if you see that you exceed your demand?
Yes. Yeah. We just have to see, because we're also going to, you remember the board actually did another program for $9 million to help out small business folks with their rents as well. So with all this going on, we'll see in the next 3 weeks or so, we'll be able to see where we are, and we'll be able to, I hope, distribute some more money to some of these programs if we have some left over. But yeah, the idea would be as much as we can to help, our mortgagers, our renters, small business people, as much as we can.
Mr. President, I want to request, can I have an updated copy of Mr. McInerney's report that he's been maintaining for all these CARES dollars, please? Thank you.
I just have to update it for this agenda, if you don't.
Okay. Any additional questions? Okay, we will take a mover on 43 from Freeholder Mercado and a second from Freeholder Pomaris. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomaris.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, moving to resolutions 44 through 55. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay. With a motion from Freeholder Pomaris and a second from Freeholder Siebel. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Pomaris.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Madam Clerk, do we have any added starters?
We have an added starter, Resolution 56, 2020 county budget, insertion of items of revenue.
The record at a later time.
Thank you, Mr. President, and to Frank's earlier point, some more money, and Director Burnett is here to address this item. She's there? She's there, yeah. Keisha, are you there? You may have to essentially unmute her again.
They have to unmute themselves. So they need to
Keisha?
Hello?
Yes,
Can
Keisha,
you
go
hear
ahead.
me? Okay,
Yes, we can.
I don't know. Okay. Keisha Burnett, the Director of the Division of Family Assistance and Benefits. We are responsible for administering the public assistance programs such as Work First New Jersey, which is cash assistance, SNAP, which is food assistance, Medicaid, NJ Family Care, which is medical insurance, and child support. The New Jersey Department of Human Services and the two divisions under two of their divisions, the Division of Family Development and the Division of Medical Assistance, Health and Services, has awarded DFAB $1.484 million for the Corona Relief Fund and any expenses that we have incurred for the months of September 1st, 2020 to December 1st, 2020. Hello?
Yes. And also too, just to embellish a little bit more, Mr. President, members of the board, this is for PPE expenses, overtime for processing applications and technical equipment that will help the agency work remotely. So it incorporates a number of things, but it only covers expenses from, as the director said, from 9/1 to early December.
Okay, Mr. Parlavecchio?
I don't have any questions.
Mr. McInerney?
Just to say that on this agenda alone, there's over 4.7 million of new COVID money, just on the four items here.
Great. Excellent. Freeholders, questions or comments?
Just quick question, Mr. President. Does this money equally have a December 31st deadline?
No, it's actually December 1st. I have to spend the money by December 1st and submit all of the receipts by December 31st.
Do we think we're going to have any issue doing that?
No, we're not.
Mr. President, on that note, anything that we have expended already for DFAB can go there as long as it's between the September 1st to December 4th. So anything we have spent already, we can add to this.
Okay. All right. Okay, I have a motion from Freeholder Siebel and a second from Vice. I'll second it. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Cooper.
Yes.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board committee reports. Legislative report, written communication, unfinished business, new business. Public comment on non-agenda items. Since we're meeting remotely, the public had the opportunity to submit questions and comments for consideration. They have also had the opportunity to call in. Madam Clerk.
For those of you who've called in, you'll be acknowledged in the order that your call was received. Emails received for public comment will be read after the calls are completed. At this time, our public information officer will announce callers so they can state their comment or question. Reminded that you have 3 minutes to speak. Please do not have your laptop or any electronic device on while calling in. All questions will be answered in writing. And at this time, we're only accepting calls pertaining to non-agenda items. Charlo Malone, our public information officer, we can begin.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Chalo Malumba, Public Information Officer for the Board of Freeholders. As a reminder, as the clerk has stated, do not have any items on that can hear the meeting. There is a delay. You have 3 minutes to speak. The first speaker is Stacy Gregg. You may begin to speak. You're on, Stacy Gregg. Hello, Ms. Gregg. You can speak. You can speak at any time.
Charlo, would you like to go to the next caller, and we can follow up with Ms. Stacy Gregg, maybe have her call back in.
Ms. Gregg, if you can hear, you have to unmute your phone. We'll give you 10 seconds to unmute your phone. We cannot hear you. Please unmute your phone before you speak. All right. Okay, we'll go to the next speaker. The next speaker, the phone number is 973-627-4120. You have 3 minutes to speak. Please make sure you have your phone unmuted. You may begin to speak. Hello, you may speak. Yeah, we do not have any other speakers at this time. That was it.
I mean, it was connected. I don't get it.
I'm pretty sure we had 2, but you guys weren't able to get them on.
Yes, we will check into that challenge for the next meeting. I will read the email.
Mr. Parlavecchio?
Yes.
Any guidance here? Just want to make sure we're okay, seeing that we had 2 people who were attempting to speak and were not able to.
Well, I mean, it's not much we can do if they can't patch it through for whatever technical reasons.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else we can do.
Okay. You understand my concern. I just
Sure I do. Sure.
I mean, I'm concerned that we're not going to be in compliance under the new executive order. And I just don't know if not being able to use our technology correctly is going to be enough if someone challenges the validity of this meeting. So I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, I understand. I don't know what the remedy is in real time to get somebody patched in. So other than to keep trying or give a different number or reach them by some other means.
If I may, this is Chalo Malumba. We can have them call back
we could take maybe a 2-minute break, have them call back and see if we could patch them through. We can do that.
We don't need a 2-minute break. I will read the emails and you can.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Okay. So through you, Mr. President, I will read the emails and hopefully at that time they will be able to contact the people who called in and patch them in. So the first email we have is from Jake Ephros, and no address was given. Dear Essex County Freeholders, this is Jake Ephros, born and raised in Montclair, New Jersey, writing you again about the state of ICE detention in our community. In the last presidential debate, Trump boasted about how nice detention facilities are, how clean they are, and how well people in detention get treated. If this sounds familiar, it's because this isn't the first time that Trump and Essex County Democrats have shared the same arguments. Recently, the county executive chief of staff, Phil Elijah, reiterated his tired point about how obscure investigators found no wrongdoing at the ECCF. He repeats this proudly despite Oprah requests failing to get more information about this. Moreover, despite the actual and documented suffering and testimonies of people who themselves have been subject to ICE detention at ECCF, I have no patience for arguments that say, just go vote out Trump and everything will be fine. Under the Obama-Biden administration, ICE detention and deportation were massively expanded, regardless of who's in power. We're against both parties incarcerating immigrants and tearing apart their families. Whether DC looks blue or red, we'll keep fighting to shut down ICE in our communities and across the county. Essex County has profited from the system far too long. Cancel your contract with ICE immediately. Find another way to run Essex County that does not rely on incarcerating people for money. Your continued support for ICE only proves that the criminalization of people who cross the borders know no political party. Next comment. Susan Goodman Jackson of Jersey City, New Jersey. Essex County must end its long, ugly history of profit from the incarceration of mostly Black and brown immigrants swept up by the racist, terroristic tactics of ICE. ICE is a rogue agency that increasingly acts with impunity and is accountable to no one. Their actions have always been deplorable, but with COVID-19 raging through the prisons across the country, being detained by ICE now carries a death sentence. Being in this country without documents is merely a misdemeanor. But regardless of how minor the infraction, ICE detainees are subject to abuse, neglect, torture, and now the rampant spread of COVID-19 death. New Jersey prisons have the highest rate of COVID-19 deaths in the nation. These facilities cannot be reformed fast enough to save lives. ICE detainees must be freed now before COVID kills them. I'm currently a resident of Hudson County, but I was raised in Essex County. And I'm horrified that so many of our Democratic-led northern New Jersey counties are profiting from the dehumanization, abuse, neglect, and resulting deaths of our immigrant neighbors in ICE detention facilities. This is abuse is truly bipartisan. Essex County must end its contract with ICE. Essex County must stop profiting must stop profiting ICE detentions now. The next comment. The next comment was was submitted by Emma Yora, no address given. Dear Freeholders Commissioners, with transmissions rates close to 1.6, COVID-19 is skyrocketing in Essex County. The transmission rate should be less than 1, and Essex County has the highest rate in the entire state of New Jersey. As our leaders, alarm bells should be ringing in your ears, and you should be taking extra precaution to protect everybody. Instead, you're flaunting the example that counties like Newark and sticking your head below the sand, pretending as if everything is normal and continuing to accept intakes from ICE enforcement and transfers, while organizations like Salvation Army and Social Justice and the ACLU are fighting to release people from New Jersey prisons due to the threat of COVID-19. ICE is working to put them back in your jail, and you're doing nothing to stop them. ICE has been making space for the last month through transfers and deportations. If Joe Biden wins, organizations like Make the Road and Faith in New Jersey are already calling for an immediate moratorium on detention and deportations. That won't be good for Essex County's detention business. Essex County has profited from the system for far too long. You need to stop depending on the commodification of Black and brown bodies to generate revenue. Kindly cut the crap and cut the contract now. The next comment was submitted by Susan Graves, no address given. Dear freeholders, soon to be commissioners, there is a second wave of COVID-19 in Newark, New Jersey. Transmission rates is above 1.0, and it's irresponsible to continue to incarcerate people during a deadly pandemic. Your administration seems to believe that this issue is under control. It is not. The excuse has been that only 2 people died before the first wave. That is unacceptable. Countless more sickened due to negligence, abuse, and a lack of adherence to basic human rights principles. They may face lifelong suffering and illness if current data about the after effects of COVID are to believe. If this policy continues, it will be a genocide. You ask, if we don't accept ICE intakes, where will these people go? ICE is seeking 900 more beds in New Jersey, so it appears as though it will be New Jersey. There shouldn't be a single person detained this way, but your administration continues to quibble over these details. ICE has been making space in your jails through transfers and deportations. You must stop enabling this practice, as the county has been profiting from the system, so it's not a question of where people will go if you stop the contract, but where your revenue will go. Your long tenure in Essex County shows that you are comfortable as Democrats in a largely blue area. Others may ignore your humane policies, but you're not humane from critique. You're not immune from critique. Your party supports ICE, thus you can dehumanize immigrants just as well as Trump. You're simply less vocal, but the result is the same. I demand that you immediately halt all intakes from ICE to your jails. This is for the interest of public health and in the interest of human rights. It is disgusting to me that the main response to demands for release of all immigrant detainees points to the money, and the county makes off ICE contracts. The Essex County has profited from the system for far too long. You need to stop depending on the of Blacks and brown bodies to generate revenue. How long will you sink for? How low will you sink for a check? And the second wave of COVID, as the second wave of COVID approaches, blood is on your hands. If you do not use your power to halt all intakes from ICE in the interest of public health and work to responsibly in your contract with ICE altogether, your continued support for ICE is proving that the Democrats can criminalize and dehumanize people who cross borders just as well as Donald Trump can. Do better. The next public comment is from Abigail Garnett, no address given. My name is Abigail Garnett, and I am a concerned constituent. I demand that you immediately halt all intakes from ICE in the interest of public health, and that you work responsibly to end your contract with ICE altogether. COVID-19 is on the rise in Essex County. The transmission rate is the highest in the state, nearing 1.6. Now is the time to exit this contract. Newark is taking extra precautions, yet the Essex County administration is acting as if it is business as usual by continuing to accept intakes from ICE enforcement transfers. ICE enforcement will continue to put folks back into jails even as the pandemic worsens. Do your moral duty to the public of Essex County and terminate this contract. Next public comment is from Alex Zucker. No address given. Respected officials, please hear what I have to say concerning Essex County contract with the federal agency known as ICE and take it to heart. In the interest of public health, since morality seems not to be a part of your calculations, I demand that Essex County immediately halt all intakes from ICE and that the county freeholders or commissioners work to responsibly end the county's contract with ICE altogether. Surely you must know from what we have seen over the years that it does not matter who is in the White House. ICE cannot be trusted regardless of which party controls the presidency. From what we have seen so far, Essex County's top talking point for keeping the ICE contract is to raise the question of where people will be transferred if the contract ends. This week, however, ICE answered that question. It will keep people in New Jersey. They're already looking for up to 900 more beds, so you can stop with this talking point. Meanwhile, COVID-19 is on the rise in Essex County. The transmission rate here is the highest in the state, nearing 1.6, and even as Newark is taking extra precautions, the Essex County administration is acting like it's business as usual, continue to accept intakes from ICE enforcement and transfers. Not only that, but even as organizations like Salvation and Social Justice and the ACLU are fighting to get people free from New Jersey prisons due to the threat of COVID, ICE is working to put them back in your jail. Just this month, ICE has been making space through transfers and deportations. Bottom line is Essex County has profited from this system for far too long. You need to stop depending on the commodification of Black and brown bodies to generate revenue. The county's continued support for ICE makes it clear that Democrats criminalize and dehumanize people who cross the borders every bit as much as the sad man now in the White House. I'm calling on you to do the right thing. Essex County contract with ICE, in Essex County contract with ICE now. The next public comment is from Nicholas Carbonara. No address given. Dear Essex County Commissioners, hello, my nickname is Nicholas Carbonara. I'm a resident of Maplewood Township in Essex County. Thank you for your time. I wanted to once again raise my concern about ICE detainees in Essex County, particularly in light of the increase in COVID-19 numbers we are seeing here and across the state. An increase in COVID transmission rates is bad for anyone, but is particularly bad for people who are currently held by ICE, an organization that has shown little concern for how its activities promote the spread of the virus. This goes double for those detained by ICE here in Essex County, where viral transmission rates hit 1.6, the highest rate anywhere in the state. Based on ICE track record and our current second wave numbers, I feel that continuing to allow ICE to actively detain people poses a clear and direct moral risk to those held in Essex detention centers, as well as to people who are employees at these centers. As much like many others, I wanted to urge, like many others, I wanted to urge the Commissioner Board to, one, halt all intakes from ICE immediately, and two, end the Essex County contract with ICE altogether. I understand that the questions have been raised about where people will be transferred to if the contract is allowed to end. My understanding is also that ICE is currently looking for more bed space in New Jersey, perhaps enough to accommodate 900 people. As such, ICE is making it clear they're looking to keep people here in New Jersey regardless of the contract. Additionally, I know there may be concerns about revenue coming from this contract. Aside from the moral issues I take with this idea of profit being a consideration in this matter, I point to the fact that groups like Make the Road and Faith in New Jersey are already pushing for there to be a moratorium on detention and deportation, which in turn would have a negative impact on Essex County detention business as it currently stands. As such, I would not be satisfied with either of these justifications for continuing to enable ICE. Again, as an Essex County resident, I'm calling on you to halt all intakes from ICE immediately. In the contract with ICE, my understanding is that ICE currently plans to re-incarcerate people who have recently been released, making it all the more urgent. Please take action now. The next comment, public comment, is from Carol Gross. No address given. I demand you immediately halt all intakes from ICE in the interest of public health and that you work to responsibly end your contract with ICE altogether. It doesn't matter who ends up in the White House in 2021. ICE cannot be trusted regardless of which party controls the presidency. If Joe Biden wins, organizations like Make the Road and Faith in New Jersey are already calling for an immediate moratorium on detention and deportations. That won't be good enough for Essex County detention business. Essex County's #1 talking point regarding keeping the ICE contract is the question of where people will be transferred to if the contract ends. This week, ICE answered that question and will keep people in New Jersey. They're already looking for 900 more beds. COVID-19 is on the rise in Essex County. The transmission rate is the highest in the state, nearing 1.6, while Newark is taking extra precautions like the Essex County administration is acting as if business as usual as it continues to accept intakes from ICE enforcement and transfers. ICE enforcement, while organizations like Salvation and Social Justice and ACLU are fighting to release people from New Jersey prisons due to the threat of COVID-19, ICE is working to put them back in your jail. ICE has been making space for the last month through transfers and deportations. Essex County has profited from the system for far too long. You need to stop depending on the commodification of Black and brown bodies to generate revenue. Your continued support for ICE is proving Democrats can criminalize and dehumanize people who cross borders just as well as Donald Trump can. The final comment, public comment for this public comment section is from Jeffrey Feld, Esquire of Short Hills. How many VBM ballots were mailed to Essex County registered voters in connection with the November 3rd, 2020 elections? As of the close of business day on Friday, November the 6th, 2020, how many VBM ballots were returned? Voting yield. As of the close on business on Friday, November the 6th, 2020, how many VBM ballots were discarded and not counted for procedural deficiency? What is the process of cleansing all inactive voters from the list of registered voters? Context matters, history matters, optics matters, gray matter matters. These are strange times. On Monday, November the 2nd, 2020, Milburn Township held a postponed special meeting at 10 a.m. to rescind a professional service request for qualifications resolution adopted September the 15th, 2020. You may wish to review this less than 12 minutes special meeting posted video. Milburn's mayor unilaterally changed and posted the meeting notice. Milburn's mayor permitted citizens' comments prior to taking official action. Township Council contradicted Milburn's newly enacted virtual civic participation rules and procedures. Milburn declined to read my email submissions into the public record. 2 committee members admonished their fellow committee members for not vetting municipal legislation with all their peers. On Monday, November the 2nd, 2020, on the eve of a national election, the New Jersey U.S. Attorney announced a federal indictment of a former Jersey City public official, press release number 20-398, former Jersey City Board of Education president and acting executive director of Jersey Employment and Training Program, and associate charged with embezzlement, money laundering fraud. On November 32nd, on November 2nd, 2020, counsel from the NJHMFA refused for the 3rd time to amend the NJHMFA one administrative appellate record, thereby causing me to file a Rule 2:4 5-5, motion to settle the NJHMFA 1 administrative appellate record. NJHMFA involves a direct appellate appeal of the validity of a post-April 17th, 1992 non-urban renewal entity, NJHMFA, long-term tax exemption transaction under the state law. The balance of this public comment will be entered into the public record. All questions will be answered in writing. And now I'm going to go back to the public information officer to see if he was able to reach out to the people who called in and have queued them up so that they can participate in public comment. Charlo?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Chalo Malumba, Public Information Officer, Board of Freeholders. We do have callers waiting to speak. The callers should be able to hear me right now. The first caller will be from the phone number 973-627-4120. Please remember to have your phone unmuted and make sure you not have the meeting playing on any other devices because there is a delay. You may begin to speak.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because I could hear you before, and I did this twice, and I've had phone calls from you twice on 2 different phone calls. The system is not working. There's a huge problem here with the Open Public Meeting Act. I would like to know in writing, this is Stacy Gregg from Rockaway. You have my address on file. I would like to know when you're going back to open public meetings where people can actually attend them, or you're going to get this system in order so that the public can participate fully with a Zoom call. This is un-American and it's not right. Your system is broken. The information to get how to get on is confusing and it's a block towards people participating. I am very disgusted that it's been months and months and you have not gotten it together as of yet to have a system where the public can participate. I agree with all the letters regarding ICE. I don't need to reread them. I am not able to go on Zoom because I have to have the telephone and all other devices off, which is another hindrance to my participating in the meeting. So I can't see all the freeholders get up and you know, flip through their phones and rock their seats and get up and leave the room when the public is speaking or Mrs. Ford is reading the letters from the public. I am totally disgusted with the board having taking instructions from a non-Democrat. You were elected on the line as Democrats, all of you, and I see you as being Dinos, Democrats in name only. Mr. DiCenzo, Deportation Joe, has turned into a total egomaniac. I have seen flyer after flyer for once, not twice, but 3 times. He has to have his name spelled out with his middle initials. It is absolutely embarrassing that such an egomaniac has taken control of your county. And I am disappointed that there's nobody there worthy enough to step up and get him out of office. But he endorsed Chris Christie. He endorsed Trump. He took chloroquine when he had his COVID-19. And he's not going to worm himself into the Biden administration. We all know who he is. We know who you are. And you are slave masters.
30 seconds. 30 seconds, Ms. Gregg.
Modern day human traffickers. And I hope you have trouble sleeping at night because you sided with the 50% of the people who sided with a vile man who was all about locking children up in cages. And you're known all over the world. They were talking about New Jersey and the camps that we have in New Jersey on a national level for the human rights. You have crimes against humanity. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker.
Chalo, I'm sorry. I would just not read the phone numbers.
I don't have that.
That's fine. I would stay off the phone number. Or maybe just read the last 4 to identify whoever it is.
Correct. Understood. The next speaker, the last 4 digits of your phone number are 1275. You have 3 minutes. You may begin to speak.
All right, I'm here. Jacob Fugger, Monmouth County, New Jersey. This is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. Everything you're doing is clearly in violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. You're not giving fair access to anyone that wants to dial into these meetings and participate. And that is probably, if it's not cleared up in a couple of weeks, I would say, leading to a lawsuit. So something to think about. But I agree thoroughly with all of the letters from everyone else. And I would remind you guys that you are not immune from the Open Public Meetings Act. So get with it or face the consequences. Thank you.
Thank you. We do not have any speakers left in the queue.
Mr. President, that includes our public comment session.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. As our practice, all questions will be answered in writing. Freeholders, do you have any comments that you would like to make? Okay, hearing or seeing none, freeholders, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion.
Meeting adjourned. Be safe, everyone.